Okay, I'm here to talk to you today about how to apply for scholarships for our seniors here at Galesburg High School. And you're going to want to start out by going to our Streaks website at streaks.org. And then we're going to scroll down, and here on the left-hand side in the main menu box, we're going to come to departments, and we're going to hold our mouse over that. And then we're going to come and we're going to click on counseling, and that will take you to the counseling website. And then you're going to scroll down below the picture, and there's a link here for online Galesburg High School scholarship applications. So we'll click on that, and that will take us to the page with the money jar. And there's three links here. The first one is for the different types of scholarships that are available to our seniors here at Galesburg High School. Most of these run through the Galesburg Public School Foundation. Some of them do not. There's about 30 on here, so you will want to go through and read each of these, read the criteria and the descriptions, and see which ones that you are eligible for. They're all going to vary. Dollar amounts are going to vary. Criteria is going to vary. Some of them are general and more open-ended. Some of them might be for a specific career. Some of them might be athletic-based and are for a certain sport. But you'll want to read through these. And we'll come back to this towards the end of my presentation. The second link is simply the instructions for applying for the different scholarships. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this page because I'm going to walk you through the process. However, on here does have some different tips, for example, on essays and letters of recommendation, future plans, etc. So you'll want to look at that. And then the third link is the Galesburg High School Scholarship application. This is the actual application, and it's going to open up in a Word document. If you're using a Chromebook and you don't have access to Word, you can simply go to File and then Save as Google Doc, and it will go ahead and transfer it over to a Google Doc format. I've done a demo application, and I'm just going to use this one for today. The first thing it's going to ask for is your personal contact information. And by the way, everything on here should be typed. But pretty straightforward: name, parent's name, address, phone number, birth date, all that good stuff. Second part, GPA, class rank, ACT score. If you don't know this information, you can ask your counselor. Third part is future plans. This is where it gives you the opportunity to list up to 3 different colleges that you might be attending next year. I realize as of right now, you might have more than 3 on your list, but considering this isn't due to the end of March, chances are your list will be down to 3, and maybe even you'll have made your decision by then and you only need to at least list 1 school. Intended major. This is very important because a lot of the scholarships that are offered on here do have a specific career involved. So if you leave the major blank or put undecided, it's going to eliminate you from some of those scholarships. I should also say too, the schools that you list here, you'll need to include a acceptance letter for each one. So for example, for mine, I've included Illinois State, Western Illinois University, and the University of Wisconsin. So if I were to submit this, I would need to include a letter of acceptance from each of the 3 schools that verifies that I've been accepted. The next part asks for your school-related activities, and you can just simply do this in a list format. It doesn't have to be paragraph format, but here I've listed the activities that I was involved in high school and for the number of years I was involved. It also says if you've won any awards or academic achievements that you can list those as well. Some students like to submit a separate page, like a resume, that includes their activities, whether it be at school or outside of school. I would ask that you not do that and that you would include that on the application. Community-related activities, so these are things that you are involved in that are not necessarily related to Galesburg High School or District 205. This is a great place for you to include any volunteer work that you've done as well. Employment history, if you've worked at all, held any jobs, and what years you worked and what your job description was, we would like to know that. You can list that there. We ask that you include 2 letters of recommendation. Your letters can come from a teacher, counselor, coach, principal, employer, or clergy member. Anybody who can write a strong letter for you on your behalf. Parents and relatives are not allowed to write letters of recommendation for their students. When you ask someone to write a letter, you want to give them at least 2 weeks notice before they're due. And you can tell the person to either give the letter to you in an envelope, or they can bring them down to the counselor, and the counselor will hold on to them for you until you submit your application. There are 2 essay questions that need to be answered. The first one is how you've made a difference at Galesburg High School and in the community, and why you feel you are deserving of a scholarship. The second one is what is your future career and what has motivated or inspired you to enter that field. A couple things about essays. Make sure you proofread your essay. Nothing will determine more than anything else if a student does or does not receive a scholarship than the essay questions. It's as if we're having an interview across from each other. So it's very important that you proofread your essay. The second thing that's important is that when you write your essays, that you sound humble. You want to list your achievements and really explain why you feel you're deserving, but you don't want to do it in a manner that's degrading to your classmates or comes across as that you're better than anybody else. And as far as the length of each essay, between a half page and a page is sufficient. Less than a half page, you really haven't answered the question in enough detail. And more than a page just becomes rambling and you're repeating yourself. Then we have the list of scholarships, and when you know which ones you're going to apply for, you're simply going to put an X, as I've done here, next to the ones that you are eligible for. And then finally, we're to the last page, and this is where you'll print it out, and you'll sign it and date it. And then there's a couple things that you need to turn in with your application here. You need to turn in a grade history report, and you want to see your counselor for this. This is basically an unofficial transcript. You don't need to submit an official transcript because that will cost you money, and it will also bog down our registrar if she's having to print out a bunch of transcripts. So just see your counselor for a grade history report. They'll know what that is. You also need to include those letter of acceptances from the colleges that you've listed above, your 2 letters of recommendation, and you need to put everything in an envelope or a folder so it doesn't get lost, because we will have probably 75 of these that get turned in, and it's a lot of paper, and we don't want to lose anything on your behalf. And you need to turn everything in on Monday, March 25th, 2016 to me, Mr. Bredemeyer. That's the last possible day that I can accept any applications, because at that point they need to be distributed to the different organizations or families that make those decisions. If you have any questions, feel free to come and see me or email me or call me. Even if I am not your counselor, I will be glad to help you in any way that I can. Thank you.